You know, I hate single people. Single people are always trying to remind you that you married. Bitch, I know I'm married, goddamn. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's looky would be our book club tote. Say what, Nay? We got a tote bag? Yes, indeed we do, because we've been reading with Uptown NayRob. We got two versions. The first version I'm not really happy with because it's slightly off, okay? That one is being sold for $23. The second one I'm really happy with. So that one is being sold for $33. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, child, this book is getting the juicy. Okay, we ain't getting a lot of views, but it's still getting juicy, okay? Let's continue talking about Miss Ruth Pointer's Still So Excited. I made whatever sound a melting pile of goo makes, and after Dennis left, my sisters were quick to remind me that I was a married woman. I vaguely recalled something like that, but to tell you the truth, I'm not sure I'd had even recognized poor Carl if he'd walked in the room right then. Did you recognize him when you walked in on him fucking the other lady? Did you recognize him then? So don't recognize him now. After the show, I hung back to wait for Dennis. When he finally appeared, he grabbed me around the waist. I had one then, and before hustling me out and into the waiting limousine, he covered his head with a towel. At the time, I thought it was a touchingly gallant attempt to shield us from any paparazzi hanging around. But I came to realize it was actually so that the stage door groupies, of which there was never any shortage, wouldn't recognize him. Well, the first thing I thought was maybe he was being gallant because, you know, you are a married woman and he don't want to be the reason as to why the paparazzi be like, oh, Ruth Pointer is cheating with the Dennis Edwards. Okay, that's what I was thinking, but okay. Okay, we'll go with that. When we got to the hotel, I couldn't shake Bonnie, who probably figured she was going to protect what was left of my virtue. Bonnie, bitch, do you not see what is happening here? Girl, you is in the way. Move! You are standing in between me and them tight-ass pants, girl. I know you see that dick print in his pants. Get out the way, bitch. You know, I hate single people. Single people are always trying to remind you that you married. Bitch, I know I'm married. She yammered at Dennis the whole time about the wedding ring on my finger, sometimes thundering about God's law, just like Daddy used to in the pulpit. He'd have been proud. But I want Ruth, responded Dennis in a cool, measured tone of voice that signaled the debate was over and she had lost. Oh, Lord Jesus. Bonnie, dejected, left us to our adulterous fun. Finally, I excused myself and went into the bathroom to get ready for the main event. When I came out, Mr. Temptation was already under the sheets. Would you mind if I took off my wig? I shyly asked. And Dennis said, as long as you don't mind if I take off mine. What? That afro was a wig? What? Well, as long as that dick ain't a... We both howled with laughter. Then we just howled. After the first night with Dennis, as they like to say in the hood, we were on and cracking. You better believe it. I ain't gonna lie to you. There is definitely an upside to being a celebrity. Fame opened up doors to countless countries, opportunities, and cultural experiences that have sustained me for a lifetime. Through my travels, I've met U.S. presidents, aristocrats, royalty, diplomats, professional athletes, and the biggest names in Hollywood. Even more satisfying, fame also allowed us to meet and befriend so many of the musical heroes the Pointer Sisters looked up to when we were making our bones. We're talking Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Buddy Guy, Chuck Berry, Diane Carroll, Dolly Parton, Cher, Annie Lennox, Robin Gibb, Miles Davis, Cicely Tyson, Keith Richards, Aretha Franklin, hold on girl, B.B. King, Etta James, Tina Turner, Lionel Richie, Diana Ross, Mary Wilson, Patti LaBelle, Harry Belafonte, Smokey Robinson, Dionne Warwick, and Quincy Jones. Later on, that honor roll expanded to include Paul McCartney, Michael Jackson, Natalie Cole, Bruce Springsteen, Willie Nelson, Chaka Khan, Bill Wyman, Ron Wood, Alice Cooper, James Ingram, Billy Joel, Donna Summer, and Whitney the Voice Houston. All great entertainers and cultural icons, to name a few. Please like the video, guys. It is so important to our success on the YouTube. Like the video. Like the video. But if forced gun to my head to choose the most memorable and awe-inspiring acquaintance we made, I wouldn't hesitate to name the greatest himself, the incomparable Muhammad Ali. Now, don't forget when we read Anita's book, Anita said that her and Muhammad Ali had a flirty type dynamic. It's like they liked each other, but they couldn't consummate the like. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't take off or had room to grow. We first crossed paths with Ali in early September 1974 when the Pointer Sisters co-hosted the Michael Douglas Show for an entire week. The Daily Talk entertainment show was taped in front of a live audience in Philadelphia and widely syndicated throughout the country. One of the perks as co-hosts was that we got to select a few guests for each show. With our eclectic taste, that made for one interesting roster. Our selections included Ali, Angela Davis, the Staple Singers, and our cousin Paul Silas of the Boston Celtics. The highlight of our week on the Douglas Show was having our parents join us on the set on our last day as co-host. But the highlight of that episode was seeing the look on Dad's face when Muhammad Ali joined us on stage. Ali was one of Dad's heroes too. The former champion was on a promotional tour to hype his October 30th, 1974 match with then champion George Foreman in Zaire on the African continent, as if it needed hyping. The Rumble in the Jungle was the most anticipated and celebrated boxing match in years as the 32-year-old Ali looked to regain his crown from the menacing Foreman, 25 years old, a former Olympic gold medalist who became the ring's latest Superman by knocking out Joe Frazier and Ken Norton, both of whom had defeated Ali. Norton, in fact, broke Ali's jaw in their fight a year earlier, and on paper, at least, the very forbidding Foreman figured to hurt him much worse than that. We didn't know it at the time we taped the Douglas Show with Ali, but the Pointer Sisters would have a special connection to the historic fight. In addition to the Pointer Sisters, minus June, who wasn't up to the trip, the all-star lineup included James the Brownie. Remember James the Brown? They extended the tour out because something happened with Foreman, and they had to extend the tour. James Brownie was like, no, this African king trying to kidnap me. I got to go. B.B. King, Bill Withers, Etta James, C0ck, Cruz, the Fania All-Stars, Miriam Makeba, the Spinners, and then known group called Sister Sledge. The historic concert, Think Black Woodstock, was held in a refurbished soccer stadium in front of 80,000 people, the largest audience of our career. The festival was an impactful social economic moment for all involved. It introduced African American and Latin music to Africa and African musicians amid Ali's Black Power politics and a glittering array of music, sports, and literary figures and 2 documentary film crews, Leon Gass, When We Were Kings, and Jeff Levihente's Soul Power. He may have been the heavyweight champion of the world, but even George Foreman himself found out who the big boss man was in Zaire after he suffered a cut over his eye while sparring on September 15th. 10 days before the championship bout was supposed to happen, the injury necessitated a 5-week postponement of the fight. Although the musicians and artists weren't told this information until we landed, Foreman wanted to go back home to heal up, but Mobutu refused to let him leave Zaire and had George's passport confiscated, essentially holding him under house arrest until the rescheduled fight went off on October 30th. That didn't apply to all the high rollers, and with the fight on hold, a lot of them left the country. The ones who had the money to leave. I cheered madly in Sausalito on October 30th when my dear friend Ali made Foreman look like a chump, knocking him out in the 8th round of their fight to regain the heavyweight title and cement his legend as the greatest of all time. But now I had my own big rumble ahead in the marital ring. I was so swept away by my wild and freestyle lifestyle that I had decided there was no point staying married to Carl anymore. I've never been very good at hiding the truth. To this very day, whenever I do something wrong, I look like the proverbial cat that swallowed the canary. So it really came as no surprise that Carl was on to my affair with Dennis Edwards almost instantly. He was a jealous type to begin with, and Carl's antennas were really twitching that very first night I spent with Dennis. Carl rarely called me when I was on the road, but he did when Dennis and I got together. It was immediately obvious to him that something wasn't right. I decided the direct approach was the best way to go, and the minute I walked through the front door of our home, I came clean with Carl. He didn't take it well, and the shit really hit the fan when I announced my intention to spend the weekend with Dennis, who was playing a gig with the Temptations at the Circle Star Theater in nearby San Carlos. If Dennis Edwards thinks he can show up in my town and sleep with my wife, he can kiss my natural black ass, Carl said with the sort of rage I'd never seen in him before. I'm either gonna take him out or kill my own damn self. Did you want to kill yourself when your wife walked in on you effing the other lady? Was I scared? Shitless. But did that stop me from keeping my rendezvous with Dennis? Oh, hell no. Fact is, the element of danger actually added a little extra spice to our lovemaking that weekend. It turned out Carl was just spouting off anyway. You always look for the next high to be better than the last. Men were the same way, but what I couldn't see, or maybe didn't want to admit at the time, was that both coke and men were only means to mask the self-doubt that plagued me as a teenager and through my years as part of the Pointer Sisters. I still didn't trust myself. I told myself that I did, and that did nothing to help me make better choices with men. I have a problem with the popular theory that says women are always looking for someone just like their dear old dad. Bullshit, the bacon. I mean, there have been times where I can look at some men and be like, oh, okay, I like my father, but for the most part, no. And Ruth Pointer feels the same way. She said her father was a good, holy, virtuous, monogamous man, who didn't do drugs. Now, he had a nervous breakdown, but that wasn't what she searched for. She searched or was attracted to what was the complete opposite of her father. Once you have low self-esteem, it's tough to rid yourself of it. So you replace your self-esteem with the superficial and the lies you tell yourself to make you feel like you are making the right choices in life. It's just like being in a cult. You get sucked in, disembodied. You separate yourself from family and true friends. You can't see life for what it really is. You rely on the high provided by the new instead of the comfort of those who truly love you. Baby. And a new romance is as powerful as any narcotic. Word. From what I understand with heroin, you are always chasing that first feeling that you got when you first tried dope. That feeling that you receive when you meet someone new, you don't really know yet what's effed up about him or her. You think they are spectacular. They're just pure to you. And they give you butterflies. They show you what you need in the beginning because actually people read you. Libras, we read you. We know what you need and we will make sure you get it. After a while, the person starts making mistakes. They start disrespecting you. They forget about you. They don't bring you flowers anymore. They don't do the small things that used to make you feel so good about the relationship. But you hang on and you stay in that relationship because of the fact that you want to get back to that initial high. I'm telling you, it is so many relationships that I have stayed in much longer than I should have because I wasn't in love with the current person anymore. I was still in love with that original high. And the new romance is as powerful as any narcotic. Trust me, honey. I'm plenty experienced with both and has the same warping effect on your reason and emotions. After the weekend with Dennis, I made up my mind to leave Carl and move to LA to be closer to Dennis, who had a house in Coldwater Canyon. That meant also ditching my 2 kids, my parents and sisters. It made no sense at all, but at the time I felt that if 2 people in a marriage weren't happy, the only solution was divorce. You say that you love me. Okay. But I don't believe it. I don't believe you. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Yes. Oh, you say that you love me. Yes, but I don't believe that shit. Oh, I don't believe you. You out here playing with each other and bitches. Yeah.